everyone, welcome to our next Google Hangout. I am really super excited to have the lovely Lauren Bartley of Impactivate on today, just going through Facebook ads with us and pretty much everything to do with Facebook ads. The reason I'm so excited is because I know many of you are always asking me about this topic, so it's something that everyone really wants to get loads of great tips on. And I'm also really excited because I know that Lauren is fabulous and she's going to give us loads of information, which is why I have my pen and paper here as well, because I'm going to learn some stuff today as well, I'm sure. So without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Lauren and we'll get started learning about Facebook ads. Take it away, Lauren.
Fantastic, thanks for that. I'm just going to share my screen here so that everyone can see what we're presenting today. And Ali, if you can just let me know when I'm full screen so that we're all working.
That looks pretty good. Yep.
Okay, fantastic. So today I'm going to be talking about creating Facebook ads that convert. And I know there's a lot of people that have possibly been creating ads in the past, and they may have had some success or limited success, or perhaps you're just frustrated with not getting the reach and the conversions that you would like to get on Facebook and perhaps that you used to get. So I'm going to be stepping you through some of the strategies that's going to allow you to create Facebook ads that convert and get you a significant return on investment so that it is worth your while. So in terms of what I'm going to go through today, and I'm just going to kind of admit to something here, I gave Ali, I think, 3 or 4 bullet points as to what I was going to chat about today. But then as I started building out the presentation, I was like, oh, but they really need to know this, and they need to know this, and they need to know that. So I've actually jammed in a whole lot more than we initially promised. And one of the first things I'm going to address is why you should consider advertising on Facebook, because it just doesn't make sense to talk about how to advertise on Facebook unless you know what the benefits are going to be to your business. So we'll go over that. I'll look at the pros and cons of the different ways that you can advertise on Facebook, because there are several different ways that you can create ads, and the different ways that you create ads will actually return you a variety of results. Some are better than others, so I'll explain how you should be doing that. We'll also look at how you can create, how Facebook ad campaigns are structured, because part of understanding Facebook ads, which can be a bit confusing, is knowing which bit goes where and how it all relates. And if you understand the campaign structures, a lot of this will just make a whole lot more sense to you. And then we'll also look at how to achieve different objectives using Facebook ads, because a lot of people just think, oh, I'm going to boost a post, because that's what you do on Facebook when you're running Facebook ads. But there's a whole lot of other objectives that you can actually achieve that may be better for your business. We'll look at how to target your ads to your ideal customers, because at the end of the day, we can have the best ad in the world, but if we're showing it to the wrong people, we're not going to get the results that we want. And then we'll also look at the essential elements of Facebook ads that convert. And so these are the things that you can mix up and you can change, and then minor tweaks that you make in these areas can have significant results, significant impact on the results of your Facebook ads. And then finally, the last little thing that I kind of snuck in here, because I think this is so important, is I'm giving you an example Facebook ad strategy for gaining more leads and sales. Now, it is only one strategy. There's so many different strategies that you can adopt depending upon what your overall objectives are for your Facebook ads. But I'm going to step you through a strategy that will allow you to get leads and get sales and grow your business. So before we get started, I just want to mention that I do have these slides will be available for you as a download. I have got a lot of slides which I'll be moving through at a fast pace, so feel free to take notes, but know also that you will be able to download these at the end, so hang around to find out how you can do that. So we'll start with why you should consider advertising on Facebook. And I know a lot of people have, I suppose, not been too happy of late with Facebook, because our organic reach is not what it used to be. Now, reach has been declining over the years, and it has been declining fairly significantly of late. And one of the things that a lot of people never realise from the start is that you're never going to reach everyone on Facebook that likes your page. And that's for a variety of reasons. People aren't on Facebook 24/7, although some of us probably are more than we should be. There's a lot more competition these days on Facebook in terms of posts that are coming from friends and from other pages and groups and events and all of the other ways that we can communicate on Facebook. Your fans just probably aren't as much into you as they are their friends and family, so they engage more with that type of content. And also people's interests change over time, and Ali's probably experienced this herself where, you know, maybe in the early stages of someone being a mum, they go, oh, motivating mum, yeah, I want to be a part of that, I want to be a part of that. But as their kids grow up and they no longer feel, you know, being a mum is not their primary focus anymore, then maybe motivating mum is not as much of an interest to them as it was in those early days. So you've got to understand that just because someone liked your page once, it doesn't mean that they're always going to. And there is an algorithm that's applied to the newsfeed so that the users have a positive newsfeed experience. And that newsfeed actually changed significantly back in January of 2014. And what happened is a lot of pages started experiencing that their organic reach, so the reach they get into the newsfeed of their fans without having to pay for it, went down to somewhere about 2 to 6%. And there's rumours that eventually it might go to 0 for some business pages. I don't think it will ever go to 0 if you're doing a really good job and engaging with your audience and giving them what they want. But what's happened is it's changed things, particularly if we're doing things that are promotional. If we're doing things that are promotional on Facebook, which we kind of need to do if we want to grow our business, then what happens is that we have to start supplementing our organic efforts with some paid advertising. And what happened off the back of that, when this came, when this change happened, is people got Facebook angry. Okay, they got really angry with Facebook, or fangry as I like to call it, and started going, oh, Facebook, they've changed the rules, now I have to pay, I'm going to boycott this, or, you know, whatever that they did, they turned away from Facebook because they said it's not working for my business anymore. But the problem that happens when you do that is you miss out on the benefits. And it's really a mindset shift that we need to take at this point of time. If you want to achieve success on Facebook these days, then you need an advertising budget. Now, there are some businesses out there that are still kicking butt on Facebook without spending a cent, but they're the exception. For the majority of us, small business owners that, you know, just starting out, got a small fan base or whatever it may be, that, you know, perhaps haven't got raving fans at this point in time, you are going to need to have an advertising budget if you want to succeed on the platform. But it's not just a case of going, oh, God, I have to do this, or I'm going to rebel against this, or I don't want to do this, or, you know, whatever, the negative mindset. You've got to think of this from the positive point of view. Facebook actually provides the most targeted form of advertising available, and I'm going to go as far as saying on the planet. The amount of data that we give to Facebook that can then be used for businesses to advertise back into, knowing what we know, knowing our interests, our behaviours, all that type of stuff is just gold to us as marketers for our business. So Facebook advertising is going to allow us to increase our reach, and it's going to allow us to an extent to circumnavigate Facebook's algorithm, because we can access our audience where they're hanging out and we can really highly target them. It's also got a real seamless integration of Facebook ads into the platform. So when someone's scrolling through their newsfeed, your ad's going to just show up, assuming you're doing a newsfeed ad. It'll have a little sponsored text alongside it, but it looks like everything else that they'll be seeing on Facebook, particularly if you're doing a really good job in the creation of your Facebook ads. It should be really seamless, and people shouldn't push back because you've targeted your audience really well and you're giving them what they want. You also have complete control over your ads. It's not like in the days of, you know, the yellow pages, where you put your ad in the yellow pages, and if you had a phone number wrong, well, that's it for 12 months, you know. Here we can go in and we can make those adjustments. You can determine your ad placement with the ability to reach mobile users, which is fantastic because that's where a lot of people hang out these days. There's many ad types to choose from based on your objective, And you can choose the way that you pay, whether it be cost per click, cost per impression, as well as optimize your ads for cost per action. And you can split test your images, your copies, and your audience, and all that kind of stuff. So you have so much control. It's just a great way to advertise. And you also set your budget, and you can have as little or as much as you want in terms of the budget that you set. And then you can monitor your ads in real time. So if something's not working, then you can go in there and say, okay, I'm going to stop this ad because it's not working, or I'm going to pause this ad, or I'll start it back up in a week's time. Maybe you've turned these ads on, and then suddenly you've got more work that you can handle. Wouldn't that be a great way to be? And then you can just pause it and then resume it when you're ready. And you can also measure your return on investment specific to your objective. So you can know how much it's costing you for a lead, how much it's costing you for a sale, all those, and develop your own benchmarks which you can try and outperform over time. And then something else that a lot of people don't realise is that your ad reach can be boosted further organically. So let's say you've done a boost post, for example. That's going to go out into the news feed that you've boosted it to, the people you've boosted it to. Now, some of those people might engage with that. They might like, comment, and share, and that will generate stories in the news feed far beyond what you're paying for. So quite often a really good strategy is to just put a little bit of money behind a post, so to boost a post, for example, to just give it that kickstart and then let the organic nature of Facebook deliver it further beyond than what you've actually paid for. But you wouldn't have got that if you didn't first pay for it in the first place. And then, of course, we get to use ads to get more leads and sales for our business, which is, a good thing. So,
Lauren,
yes?
Sorry, you've just got a little, like a message box open I can see it on the right-hand corner, if you want to minimise it.
I'm really sorry that's been there the whole time then, hasn't it? Oops, and now I've just blacked out for doing that. Let me just go back again and share my screen again. Oops. Share screen. Share. And waiting for that to happen. Okay, that didn't work. Sharing the entire screen, and let's share. Okay, now it's not letting me share my screen. What's going on?
Amita, do you know why?
Share, I'm choosing the entire screen. I'm clicking on the share button, it goes away. And it says I'm screen sharing, but I can see that you can't see my screen, can you?
So
yeah, just click on your PowerPoint.
I think what she's done is that was the little Hangout toolbox.
That's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're all good now.
Cool.
Okay.
Yep.
So because of all these things combined, what ends up happening is it's relatively inexpensive to for our cost per desired action to advertise on Facebook. And then over time what happens is our results start to become predictable. So what will happen is we'll know rather than it being a poker machine where we put money in and we hope that something comes out the bottom of it, becomes a bit more like a vending machine where we put our money in and we know to an extent what's going to come out. So we can increase our budgets, and by increasing our budgets we'll increase the results. And then, of course, off the back of all this, because we're getting more leads and sales and we know, when we put this much money in, this is what's going to come out, we're going to have a more profitable business. And I'm not promising you that you're going to now be able to move to Bahamas and, sit on your deck chair and life's pretty. But what will happen is you'll have, if you can put these things on autopilot and the leads and the sales are coming in for your business, you'll be able to focus on more of those things that are more important to your business or your life. So let's look at the pros and cons of the different ways that you can advertise on Facebook now. And I know quite a few of you have probably heard of or done before the boost post feature. And that's basically giving us more reach for the content that we're sharing on Facebook. That's one objective that we can actually do. And we can do that straight from the page timeline. So it has the positives in as much as it's really easy to do. You just click that button and a couple of clicks and you've got your ad created. But a lot of people don't use this tool very effectively because what they'll do is they'll go, oh, I'll boost this post and I'll boost it to, one of the options they give you is to boost it to your fans and to the friends of your fans. Now, boosting posts to your post, because someone's a friend of your, is friends with someone that likes your page, it doesn't mean they're interested. So there's going to be a lot of wastage in that ad, and you might get some pushback from people who don't particularly like seeing that ad. And another function that they actually give us is the ability to choose our own targeting. So if you set up your own audience targeting before you boost a post and pick the specific audience that's going to be best for that boost post, then that's the best way to run a boost post ad. And I'll talk a bit more about audience targeting shortly.
And sorry, Lauren, it just glitched out a little bit when you said your fans and, just for a minute. So it was, I'm assuming, fans and friends.
Yeah, so if you're promoting to your fans and the friends, it's not the best way to advertise on Facebook. The best way to advertise on Facebook is to actually set up the audiences before you go to boost that post, and I'll show you how to do that shortly. And then what we can do is we can select that audience, and that audience will change between the posts because different posts will be of relevance to different parts of your different audiences.
Perfect, thank you.
And then the next way we can advertise is using the Ads Manager. And you just go to facebook.com/ads/manage to get into the Ads Manager tool. And that steps you through a wizard that allows you to create your ads. It's fairly self-explanatory. You choose your objective and then you go through and you create your ad sets, and then you create your ads. And you don't even realise that you're doing those three things. It just steps you through the process, and at the end, voila, you've got an ad. This is a great tool for anyone who's been boosting their posts before and just want to start using some of the other objectives and taking their ad development to the next level. I used to tell people that you kind of need to use the next tool, which I'm about to talk about, which is Power Editor, but these days the Ads Manager does so much stuff that if you're comfortable here and you're too scared to move to the next level, if it's doing everything you need it to do, then by all means you can actually stay at this level. If you're more of an advanced marketer and wanting to do some more split testing and those types of things, and get a couple of different ad sets and ad objectives, and do some other cool stuff like easily duplicate ads and that, then you want to go to the next level, which is the Power Editor. And to get there, you just go to facebook.com/ads/manage/Power Editor, or if you're in the Ads Manager tool, there's actually a button that says Power Editor, and you just click on that and it takes you in there, and you've got a greater functionality within there. So if you've been using Boost Post for a while, I recommend that you try go to the Ads Manager. If you've been using Ads Manager for a while, try and step yourself up for the Power Editor and see if you can start using some of the other functionality that's within there as well. And if you're an advertiser, let's say you're an agency or you're doing some social media management for clients, or if you want someone else to do your social media management, then there's another tool which is the Business Manager, and that allows you to share pixels, and I'll talk more about what they are shortly, and to do some other things that you can't do easily within the other tools. So you don't have to use Business Manager, but it's a great tool to use if you're managing multiple accounts, or if you want someone else to manage your account for you. If you set that up, you can then give them access that way, which is great. So what I want to talk about now is how Facebook ad campaigns are structured, and I've kind of touched on this just a little bit already. When we create ads, it doesn't matter what tool we're creating them in, we actually step through three components of a Facebook ad. And the first is the campaign. And the campaign is where we choose what our objective is for the ad. So if we're going to create ads and we've got multiple objectives, then we need to create multiple campaigns. So it's one campaign per objective. And for example, an objective is to boost your post. An objective is to gain page likes. An objective is to get conversions on your website. Yes, you might do a page like ad, and it might end up in providing you with some conversions on your website because people might like your page and then go off and purchase from you, and that's great, but that's not what you're optimizing that ad for. You're optimizing it to get page likes. Then within each campaign, we'll have ad sets, and the ad sets are basically where we break down who the audience is and how we how much we wish to pay, the duration of the ad, that kind of thing. So this is where we set our budgets and who the ad's going to effectively. And then we can have multiple ad sets. So for example, you may have a male ad set and a female ad set. Or you may decide to say, okay, well, I want to see which of my demographics is working best in terms of, is it the, is it women between the ages of 25 and 35, or 36 and 45, or 46 and 55. So you might create 3 ad sets so that you can do some split testing to see which ones are performing better. So then within each of the ad sets, we create the ads. And in the ads, this is where we look at the things like the copy in terms of the words that we're going to be using. We'll look at things like the images that we're going to be using, the links we're going to be using. All those types of things happen at this level. And this is where we do the split testing of those elements. So the split testing of our images. We might do 2 ads, and one might have an image of, maybe it's yourself looking straight at the camera, all smiley, and then the other one might have an image of a beautiful sunset or something else. And you'll run the 2 ads concurrently and see what are people resonating more with. Is it the picture of you, or is it the picture of the beautiful sunset? And then you can turn things on and off as, based on which ones are performing better. So, and I've mentioned this already, that we can split test things through the campaign structure. And the other thing that happens is that Facebook does almost a little bit of split testing for us themselves if we've created multiple ads within an ad set. And what it will do is Facebook will notice that one of the ads is performing better than the others. And therefore, it will actually do you a favour and show the better performing ad more. So you'll end up paying less for that ad, and then it'll show the other ones less. And we can go in and manually turn that on and off ourselves as well. But this is a great way to, a great thing that they do, which helps you, but it also helps them, because if an ad's performing better, it knows that its audience prefers that, and it wants a good user experience for all of the people that are consuming ads, and that's why it does it. So I'm going to talk now about how to achieve different objectives using Facebook ads. And we've talked about each of these before in terms of the different ways that you can create them. So that boost post, when we're looking from our timeline, we can only boost a post. That's the only objective we can achieve if we do it that way. When we go to the Ads Manager, it provides us with more things that we can do. So we can boost our post, so get more reach for our post. We can promote our page, so get more page likes. We can send people to our website, which is great if you're just wanting to send traffic to your website. Or we can optimize our ads to increase for conversions. And so that allows us to track to see this many people came to this page, and of the people that came to this page where perhaps you might be getting them to opt in for something or purchase something, this many people ended up purchasing. And Facebook will be able to optimize for that. Assuming you've got a lot of people that are taking that action in the first place, it'll go and find, it will show your ads more to those people, to other people that are similar to them. You can get installs of your app if you've got any apps that you're trying to promote. You can increase engagement on your app. And a really good one, if you're a local business, is you can reach people that are near your business. And that's people who live near your business, who visited your business, traveling in the area, that kind of thing. So that's a great ad for local businesses. You can also use ads to raise attendance at your event. So let's say you've set up a Facebook event and you want to get more people to indicate that they're coming. You can use that type of ad objective. If you're running Facebook offers, you'd use the get people to claim your offer objective. And if you're looking to promote your videos and get more people to view your videos, you'd use the Get Videos views. A new one that has only just arrived in the Ads Manager tool, it used to only, it's probably, I don't know, maybe it's about 6 months old, not even that, that was only available in the Power Editor, is to collect leads for your business. And this is a way that Facebook actually allows you to create effectively like a landing page within Facebook that's pre-filled in with all their Facebook details, and it's so easy for people to opt in. So this is a great, particularly for those people who maybe they don't use lead pages or those other tools that for capturing leads, that you can actually use that straight within Facebook. And because Facebook pre-fills it, it's usually their best email address because it's the email they log into Facebook with, which is usually people's most private email address. And then when we go to the Power Editor, we've got all those same objectives except the one that's second from the bottom. You'll see promote a product catalogue. So if you're in a business that has an online store and you're looking to sell products within that online store, then you want to move into the Power Editor and start using that particular ad objective. So there is so many different objectives that you can choose, and I'm challenge you now just to have a little bit of a think about this and think, well, what are the kind of things that I need to be doing? And I would say for a lot of businesses that promoting your page to increase your audience is a great ad to do. Boosting your post to get greater reach for your content, sending people to your website, increasing conversions on your website, and also that reach people near your business if you are a local business. They're the ones that I find that a lot of, kind of like the ones that most businesses will be using to some extent, and then the other ones kind of take you to the next level. So I mentioned before that we really need to target our ads to our ideal customers. This, to me, is the most important part of Facebook advertising. So if you haven't done any form of customer avatar exercise before, where you've actually sat down and said, who is my ideal customer? What are their demographics? What are their behaviours? What are their psychographic information in there? And what do they do? What are their interests? If you haven't looked at that kind of stuff, you really need to do that in your business, because then Facebook's going to allow you to find those people, which is just absolute gold. So I'm going to talk about the different types of audiences that we can advertise to on Facebook. And one of them is those people that are already connected with us on Facebook. So they might be connected with us because they've liked our page, or they've engaged in an app you're using on Facebook, or perhaps they've said they're coming to an event. Or we can do a combination of these things. And the great thing about this is you can actually add connection types based on, you can either include that connection type or you can exclude. So you could run things to people but exclude your people who like your page, or only include people who like your page. And sometimes it's a great other filter that you can do. I've said before when we're boosting posts that I wouldn't do friends of people who like your page, but I actually find targeting friends of people who like your page is a great additional filter to put on an audience. Let's say you've developed an audience based on their interests, and that interest is massive, and you go, that's just too many people to advertise to. Well, if you then put an added filter on it and say, okay, only advertise to people who have all these interests but also have a friend that likes this page, then that adds that social element of proof, because when they go to your Facebook page, they're going to see that their friend already likes that page and go, oh, well, if Ali likes that, then, it must be good. I'm going to like it too. We can also create custom audiences on Facebook, and that allows us to upload a customer list to Facebook. So maybe it's an email database that we've got, or we can track our activity on our website and people who are visiting our website that are logged into Facebook at the time and run ads back to them. And also you can create lists of people who've taken specific actions in an app or game that you've got on Facebook. It's usually the first two that most businesses would use, and so I'm just going to focus on them now. So the customer lists. Now, within the customer list, they let you do a few options, but it's the emails and phone numbers that I think are going to be of most benefit to you. So what you would do here is you would upload a file that contains just one line so it's a CSV file, and it's just strip everything out of it except for the email addresses or the phone numbers if it's the phone numbers that you're doing. And if you're doing the phone numbers, it needs to be mobile phone numbers. And what it'll do then is it'll go and match that data against what people log into Facebook using. So if you have an email list of 2,000 people, let's say, and you upload that to Facebook, don't be surprised if it comes back to you and says, we now have an audience of 1,000 people that you can advertise to. Because what will happen is some people won't use that email address to log into Facebook. Perhaps they're not on Facebook, or some other reason that that's not matching. And but still, it becomes a great audience. The people that have already indicated an interest in your business, and maybe you might run a page like ad to them, for example, or something to convert them to engaging with you on Facebook, or boost a post to them, or something like that. Then we can also, so you can either do it that way, or you can import it from MailChimp if you wish to do it that way, or cut and paste is another option as well. Then another audience that we can use, which I think is a fantastic audience, and if you haven't done this, even if you're not intending to set up Facebook ads like anytime soon, if you want to do this within the next 6 months, then do this now, and that is the website traffic audience. And Facebook provides you with a pixel which you upload to your website, and then it's going to track all those people that visit your website, excuse me, that were logged into Facebook at the time, and that's an audience that you can run your ads to. So if you go into the Ads Manager tool or into Power Editor, there'll be a place there where you can go and under Audiences, and you can create the Facebook pixel. And again, like everything that Facebook does, they make it quite easy for you to get this code. The hardest bit for a lot of people is actually getting the code on the website. So you have to put this within the head tags of your website, and if me even saying that freaks you out, you'll either need to get your website developer to do that, or install a plugin that's going to allow you to start tracking that. And that will track people for up to 180 days. And then you can create audiences based on what pages they've visited, based on what pages they haven't visited. It becomes just an absolute awesome tool to use for targeting your audience. And then the next one that we can use, and this is particularly good for those people that maybe have a list but it's not very big, or they have a page likes, not very big, or they have website traffic that's not very big. And because those audiences aren't very big, you can't really advertise to them, or if you do, you exhaust those lists so quickly. A lookalike audience is a great audience that lets you take one of those lists I just mentioned and say to Facebook, okay, Facebook, go find me more people that look like the people that like my page. And so Facebook will look at all the people that like your page and say, okay, well, they're usually female, they're between these ages, they live in this area, they're whatever else it is, and then they will go and, they like these pages in general, whatever. They'll go find other people that have similar interests, and they will create an audience for that. So you can do that for lookalike audiences for page likes. You could do it for any of the custom audiences that you've already created, so your email list or your website traffic as well. And then the last audience I want to talk about, and the reason I've put this as last, is it's actually the worst audience to advertise to. And I know this is the audience that most people go to when they're starting off Facebook advertising as a first point of call, because this is a cold audience. And what a saved audience is this is when you go and choose people based on their demographics, their interests, and their behaviours. So you can go into Facebook and say, and this is an example for one of my clients that I'm doing at the moment, they're called Record Store Day, and they have Record Store Days on the third Saturday of April every year, and they get, in the major cities around Australia, the record stores go on sale for a day. And people get to come in and experience their love of, vinyl records. And they have all these limited releases and all this kind of stuff. So when we're advertising to them, we go in there and we say, okay, yes, this is a cold audience. We want to get people to be aware of our event. And we'll say people who live in Adelaide, only about a 20-mile radius, Brisbane, 25 miles, but Melbourne and Perth and Sydney, Melbourne, we're going for 30 miles. And we've changed that based on the city and where the stores are in the areas. Then we've said, okay, we want 25 to 45-year-old men because that's the main demographic that buys vinyl. And then we've gone in and done some detailed targeting where we've said, you know, that some of the things, collecting records, collectible records, you know, cassette, single, crate digging, all these things that people would be either liking pages related to this or talking about this in their, you know, in what they're doing. We can actually go in and exclude people, so exclude people that like particular pages or have other interests or anything, and or say they also and have to have this, this, and this if we want to further narrow the audience. We haven't in this particular case. And then what we've also done here is we're excluding, obviously, people who like the page because we're going to run some page-like ads to this, and we're trying to build the audience here, so, you know, it doesn't make sense to have that. So suddenly we have a potential reach of 40,000 people that we can target that, you know, we can get to start engaging and being aware that Record Store Day is coming up. So that's an example of how we can use the this particular, you know, find other people based on their interests, their demographics, and you know, their behaviours. So we've created the audience, and now what I'm going to step you through is the essential elements of Facebook ads that convert. And these are the things that we can mix around in order to optimize our ads so that they get us a better return on investment. And the first thing that, the first element of importance is the ad objective. And I've already talked about that in detail, so I'm not going to talk about that any more than to say pick one objective per ad, one objective. And don't always run the whole objective, the same objective all the time. Mix it up. If all you've ever done is boost posts, go and try something else like a website conversion ad, you know, and see how that works for you. Then we need to get our targeting right, and that's the audiences that I just spoke about. So we want to make sure that we're, you know, targeting the ideal people for that particular ad objective or piece of content that we're sharing. And if you're always targeting the same audience, then my challenge to you is to go and set up some other audiences and start picking different audiences based on what it is you're promoting. You know, I teach social media for business, but I don't always send it out to the same, when I'm boosting a post, it's not always to the same people if I'm boosting it to, let's say, people who aren't already in my audience. So if I'm talking about email marketing, then I'll probably go and target people who have an interest in MailChimp, Aweber, Infusionsoft, that type of thing. Whereas if I'm talking about people who are interested in Facebook ads, then I'll be going and targeting other influencers in that space, or, you know, people who are using the word Facebook ads, or people who are Facebook ads managers. I can actually even target them in the ads that I create. Then we have to look at what our call to action is, and there's kind of two components to this. One is, what is the offer? So when we're actually running an ad, and let's say for this example we're trying to get someone to opt in to become a subscriber, we need to make sure that that offer is compelling and that it fits really well with everything else in this mix. So it fits well with the visuals we're using, it fits well with the audience, and, you know, everything there. And we also have the option in some ads to actually put a call to action button in. And Facebook provides us with various options there. You might be wanting to get someone to buy something from you, but so that you've got an option of putting the buy now button on some ad types. Now, quite often the buy now button is not the best button to put on something you're trying to sell. The learn more button might be better. So people click on that buy now button, they're like, hang on, I don't have enough information. And they might think, if I click on that, I'm committing to buying, you know, suddenly my credit card's going to be miraculously debited with the full amount. If we put learn more, then they can click through to your sales page and they can learn more, and then they can make the decision. That's where the buy now button is. So this is something that you may wish to split test. Do two ads. One has the buy now button, one has the learn more ad, and see which one of them is performing better with you. Then keep going with that one. Our visuals are so important. We need to be creating and sharing in our ads thumb-stopping images, because a lot of people will be scrolling through that newsfeed and you need to stand out. And it's not just images, it's video as well. Video is performing so well on Facebook these days, and video ads are actually ridiculously cheap. So if you haven't had a go at doing that, give it a try. If you're always just sharing images, just mix it up and try the videos and compare your return on investment. And that's the great thing about the measurement tools that we've got available to us on Facebook. We can see what works and what doesn't. And then it's the copy as well. So the copy is the words that we use. We need to be persuasive in our copy, particularly if we're trying to get people to opt in or to purchase. But even if we just want people to read the blog post that we're boosting, is that we need to give them a reason why. We need to lead them down the path with the words that we're using to take the desired action that we want them to take. And then we need to consider the links and landing pages. Now, I've grouped these two together because, but I want to start with talking about the landing pages. When we're sending someone via an ad to somewhere that they are going to opt in, we need to make sure of a few things. And one is that we need to make sure that it is congruent with what we've kind of promised to them. So that means that the visuals that we're using on our ads should be consistent with the visuals on the landing page that they're going to end up on. And then also we want to make sure with our landing pages that they're mobile friendly, because these days the majority of people who use Facebook do it from a mobile device. So we want to make it as, we don't want them to be sending the ads to our landing pages and then it's taking too long to load, so they're bouncing. Now, if that's a case for you and you can't work around the slow load time of your landing pages, then there's a couple of options you can do. You can do the new lead ads and use the Facebook's landing pages that are within the platform, or you could say, okay, well, I'm only going to run these ads on a desktop because it's not as slow on a desktop, it's just a mobile issue. So take these things into consideration. And you might also want to switch up the links as well. So you might want to split test the links. So you might have a link going to in one ad to one page and a link going in another ad to another page to see which landing page is going to convert better. And then in some cases you might not even have links because it might be a video or a page like that doesn't have a link. So, send it to link. Then we also need to look at our schedule.
Sorry, Lauren, it just glitched out for about the last minute. If you could just repeat about the last minute, that would be great.
So was I talking about links and landing pages at that point?
That's correct.
I got very far?
You could probably just gloss over it again and that would be perfect.
Okay, cool. So I was just saying that if we're going to do landing pages, the landing pages need to be web optimized. The landing pages also need to be consistent with where we're sending people from, and that we might wish to split test our links. So we might run an ad that sends to one landing page, or one ad will go to one landing page, another ad will go to the other. Then we can test to see which is performing better. And if for some reason your links, where you're sending them to, is not mobile friendly, so it takes a long time for those pages to load, or it just doesn't look very good on a mobile device, then you might consider using the link ads that Facebook provides you as an option, or alternatively what you might do is you might choose to only run link ads to people who are viewing from a desktop. And then we can look at the scheduling side of things. So scheduling is where we decide when our ad starts and when our ad finishes. And we also, as part of that, if we've chosen the objective of a lifetime budget, we get the choice of even determining when those ads are turned on. So we might say, I only want to run the ads of a morning and of an evening when people are commuting on the train, perhaps, if your audience is a commuting audience. Or you might say, I just want to run them weekdays, I don't want to run them weekends, or I only want to run them weekends. And this is where you have to, through the test, sometimes we'll turn their ads off because they're going, oh, they don't appear to be working. But sometimes if you let them run a few days and just see what happens, it might just be the day of the week that's the issue for you. So just consider that as part of your monitoring. Then the other thing we've got is our budget. So we can determine how much we spend, and we can determine where that goes. So if we're doing a male-female split, let's say, in terms of our ad sets, we might say, you know what, I know that the females, you know, they're a lot cheaper to convert, so I'm going to give a bigger budget to the females. But I still want to advertise to the men because I still want men involved in this. And I had this example with a client just recently who runs a gym, and she's like, well, you know, it's costing me, I think it was like $3 to oops, I'm so sorry. Don't know why that's just popped up there. Go back there, sorry. So she was saying it's costing about $3 to convert a female for the thing they were trying to get conversion for. It was costing them $10 for a male. But they were like, you know what, we're going to have to just suck it up and pay the $10 for the male, because at the end of the day, if our gym just ends up being female only, it's not the environment that we want. So you've just got to keep those things, you know, in mind and make business decisions around that from a budget perspective as well. And then Facebook also allows us in some ad sets to optimize for conversion. So what it'll do, and I touched on this briefly previously, it will actually, assuming you've got enough people that are converting, it will look at those people that convert and say, okay, well, they're usually in this demographic, or you know, they've got these characteristics or these interests or whatever. And because we've chosen to optimize the ad for that conversion, they will prioritize that segment of your audience in seeing the content so that they're more likely to convert, which is, you know, fantastic in terms of getting you a better return on investment. And then finally, as part of this, whilst it's not really an element in creating the ad, a lot of people actually really overlook this part, and that is the monitoring and then the measuring. And so if you're running Facebook ads, you really do need to be checking daily to see how they're going. Because, you know, and not just to check how they're going, just to check that you've set them up right. Because I have had people that have come crying to me in the past because they thought they'd set a lifetime budget on an ad for $500 and they'd actually set a daily budget and they didn't look at it for 3 days. Could have been even worse because that campaign was meant to run for a whole lot, was kind of meant to be going for about a month, I think. But yeah, you do need to be getting in there and really having a look and then switching things on and off and modifying your ads based on how things are performing. So this kind of brings me to, I know I've given you all of the elements and what you need to be looking at when you're creating Facebook ads, but what I want to do for you now is look at a Facebook ad strategy for gaining more leads and sales. So how do we actually do that? Because we know we can create all these different objectives for our ads, but you know, that's just creating a campaign in isolation. How do campaigns work together to get us more leads and sales? And I'm going to show you one example. This is not the best way to do it. This is not the only way to do it. This is one of the ways that you can do it. And you're going to have to vary this up based on what you're trying to achieve. So I just want to start by saying that fans, as in page likes, subscribers, and website visitors are more likely to convert than the cold traffic. And the cold traffic is those saved audiences I talked about before, where we've just gone in and found random people and put them in an audience that like the things that we think our ideal customer would like. So the best audiences for us to be creating and building and nurturing and trying to convert are our fans, our subscribers, and our website visitors. So we have to actually build them in order to achieve that, and that's what I'm going to step you through. So first thing first is that we can use those saved audiences, so those people that interests, behaviours, the cold audience that is, we can use that audience type. We can use our website custom audiences, so people who've already visited our website, so we know that they're interested in what we have to offer because they've been on our website recently. We can look at our email subscribers, so these are the people who have opted in at some point for something in our business, so we know that they've potentially, you know, got some level of interest. And then we can also use those lookalike audiences. So it's similar to the saved audiences to an extent. We're taking a bit of a best guess as to these people are probably going to be interested in our business. And what we can do with those audiences is we can run a page like ad. And by doing that, we start to build up people who are liking our page. It gives us a bit of an element of social proof. And it also, these page likes now are going to allow some, yes, limited, but some organic reach from the content that we share. So this, in the pink, we're not paying for this. We pay for the page likes, and then we create a post on our page. We send it to our page likes, and so our page likes are going to see it, or a portion of it are going to see it through organic reach, and great. So let's say it's a blog post. We might just put out in a status update. Some of those people that we've paid for previously will start to view that blog post through the organic reach. But then we might say, you know what, I want a few more people to be seeing this blog post. So I'm actually going to boost the post. So I can pay to boost that post so that more people who like my page are going to see it. So we've created 2 ads so far. First, we've done a page like ad, and then at some point in the future, we've done a boost your post into that page like audience that we've already created. And then further down the track, what we might do is we might say, you know what, we've paid for these page likers to go to our website because we've boosted the post and they've visited it. So now suddenly our website custom audience has started to grow. And what we might say with that website custom audience, we might say, well, let's include those people that we've driven to this particular blog post because this is really relevant to the product or service that I eventually want to sell. And so you might get all the people that have gone to that particular blog post, or maybe it's a category of posts. So maybe if you sell shoes, bags, and let's say shoes, handbags, and purses, you might decide that everyone that's been to the shoe subcategory on your website, that's who I want to be targeting here. And I want to exclude the people that perhaps have gone to some other random part of the website that you know that if people have gone there, they obviously don't like shoes. So you can do that. In the next type of ad, you can say, I'm going to do a website custom audience, and here what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and collect leads. So you might have an opt-in there where you get people to opt in for something that you know that the shoe lovers are going to love. So it might be let's say it's the best way to store your shoes. We're going to give you a free download that's going to help you with your shoe storage issues or something like that. So we're going to collect the leads there. Or maybe it might be a discount voucher. Maybe it's a discount voucher of for shoes. So we're effectively here now, what we're doing is we're collecting the leads for our business. So we're getting email addresses. So we're creating this other audience for us of leads. And that gives us another way that we can communicate with these people moving forward. So effectively what they become is a subscriber to your business because you have their email address. And this is, again, another audience now that we've paid for and we have. It becomes what's called a proprietary audience because we actually now, you don't own it because they can opt out at any point in time, but it's within your control. You can, without paying any more money, you can promote into that audience at a later date. So now we have this subscriber list. What we might choose to do is we might choose to run a website conversion ad to these people to try and get them to buy the shoes or whatever it is that we're looking to purchase from them. But I actually don't think that is the best way to necessarily get sales. I actually think if we've got a list of subscribers, then we're going to use email marketing to get them to purchase. People are more likely to purchase from you via email than they are from a Facebook ad. That's not to say that the website conversion ads aren't great to subscribers, but you might actually want to add another step to this, and for the subscribers you just send the email marketing and then you create a website custom audience list of the people who have been to that sales page but didn't end up on the thank you page, and then we can retarget them with a website conversion ad. So I know this is, as I said, this is one strategy, but what I wanted to highlight to you here is quite often I get people saying, how much should I spend on Facebook ads? Or what kind of Facebook ad should I run? Now, they're not easy questions to answer, and it's going to depend on the business, and I don't think that you should just be running one type of ad. You need to be running your ads in a way that are going to move people along your sales funnel so that they become leads, and then eventually you generate sales as well. Because that is what we're trying to achieve using Facebook. That is how you create Facebook ads that convert, by actually moving people from one ad objective through to the point of becoming leads for your businesses and for your business and sales in your business. So if we do all that, then we get to a point where we've been able to highly target our audience on Facebook and being able to convert people to leads and sales, which is giving us the more profits and all those things I spoke about at the beginning to achieve success using the power of Facebook advertising. Now, I know at this point in time that there's probably a few people sitting around doing this because it does get a little overwhelming. I've gone through a lot of stuff in this presentation today, but it doesn't have to be that hard. I'm going to be entirely honest with you and say it's going to take you a little bit of time to learn this stuff. It's going to take you a little bit of money and budget to actually, test to see what works and what doesn't work. I always say to people, whenever you run an ad, you want to probably allocate at least $50 just to do your testing initially, so you can work out what's working, what's not working, and then allocate more budget to the other areas that the parts of that ad that were performing really well. So what I prefer you to be doing is to absolutely fall in love with Facebook ads and the power that they have for your business, because if you do these things right, as I mentioned earlier, it does become a vending machine where you know that I put this much money in, I get this many leads or sales out the back of it, maybe not immediately, but over time, and also that you can turn these things on and off as required. So if you do feel like you need a little bit more help at the back of this, because you've kind of gone, oh, overwhelmed, or you want to take this to the next level, then I've got a couple of things that I'm going to just tell you about now. One is, and I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, that I have these slides that are available for you. So if you go to impactivate.com.au/MMH, and MMH for Motivating Mum Hangout, so that you can remember that afterwards, or do it now, open up another browser, whatever, to do that. That'll allow you to download the slides, and so you can go back through this and have a look at those the different objectives that you might want to be targeting. Have a look at the different ads audiences that you want to be creating, because I highly recommend that you just set up loads of audiences before you even embark on the process of trying to create any Facebook ads, and then go and look at how you can interchange the copy and the images and the other things you can be doing to split test to really put your ads into high gear and get better results from them. And then look at the whole strategy. So that example I gave you on that brick wall, where I just wrote down some of the ways that we can use our ads over time to move people from page likes to leads to sales. By all means, please, try and work out what's going to be the best method of doing that for your business. And then if you want to supercharge your results and take it even further and get more support in actually implementing some of the strategies, the tips, the tools that I've talked about today in this Hangout, then I've also got the opportunity, if you'd like to join my FB Business Success Now online training program. And if you want to do that, then you can go to impactivate.com.au/MMF, and that's for Motivating Mum Facebook. I've just made that nice and short abbreviation, which will take you straight there. And in terms of this program and what it has to offer, I actually have 2, 4, 6, 8. I was going to say 6 then. I'm glad I just double checked myself there. There's 8 training modules, but the first 6 of these modules step you aren't really talking about Facebook ads, but they're talking about the foundations that you need to get in place in order to use Facebook successfully organically. And you need to have these things set right so that your Facebook ads are likely to be more successful too. So we talk about your overall Facebook marketing strategy. Then we look at how we can optimize your Facebook page so that you're more likely to gain more leads and sales organically, and attracting people to actually like your page, that kind of thing. Then we'll look at the audience, and when I talked about the importance of developing customer avatars earlier, and I said you really need to do an exercise like that, we do that as part of developing, working out who your ideal audience is, and then we look at ways that you can find your audience on Facebook, both paid and organically there. We'll look at the content that's going to work best on Facebook, and I've got some great tools and tips to help you actually also. I know a lot of people get overwhelmed with the amount of time and effort it takes to post to Facebook, so we go through how you can do that more streamlined. And then we look at the process of generating leads and sales on Facebook, talking both about how you can do it organically and how you can bring Facebook ads into the mix. And then that last of the 6 modules in the kind of foundations part of the course talks about your Facebook performance and how you can monitor and measure your results to see that you actually are having a positive return on investment. And then I have 2 standalone modules on Facebook ads, and the first one is Facebook ads, the essentials, and that takes you through pretty much what we've gone through in this presentation today, but actually shows you how to do it. So it shows you how to install that Facebook pixel. It shows you how to create audiences. It shows you all that stuff, which I just didn't have time to get into the details of today. And then when we get into the advanced techniques, this is where we start talking about how to use the Power Editor, how to do split testing, how to use the Business Manager and navigate yourself around that tool, how to use some other things I haven't even had chance to talk about today in terms of the pixel actually allows us to do other things to track for standard events and some things that go beyond that. So that's really high level advertising techniques and how to actually do the whole campaign like what I showed you on the brick wall earlier. So as well as having the modules, the other thing that we do is I have impact activities in every single one of the modules where you can actually go and implement what you learn specific to your business. We also have the a resources section, so you can go, there's a whole heap of links and other tools and stuff that will help you in all aspects of this. And then we do live Q&A sessions. It's working out to be about once a quarter that we're doing this, where you jump online and everyone else that's doing the program as well, and I just sit there and take all of your questions. And you can submit them in advance and watch the recordings after if you can't come live. We have a private Facebook group for support, which you can ask questions 24/7, and I get back to you usually within 1 business day, sometimes a whole lot sooner. And then I have loads of bonus resources that I just reserve for this community. So it's a really awesome program. Once you do join, you do get lifetime access to it. So for as long as the program is going, you will have access to this, and the program's been going for over 3 years now, and I have no intention of winding it up anytime soon. And so the great thing about this program, which is different from a lot, is that I don't say you've got 12 months access, then you have to purchase again or whatever. You've got it forever. So as Facebook changes all the time, whenever it changes, I'm updating the content constantly, and you get the latest resource to go back to at any point in time. So if this is something that you're interested in, you can go to that link and find out some more information about it. This is just a few more bullet points around the types of things that you'll be able to achieve as a result of actually being involved in this program. But you probably want to know, how much it's going to cost to get involved. If you just want to do a single upfront payment, it's $397. As I said, you do get lifetime access, your program lifetime access, that is, not your lifetime, but however long the program goes for. I do guarantee that it will be at least 12 months. But as I said, I have no intentions of winding this up anytime soon. The other option is you have 2 monthly payments of $213.50, or you can decide to upgrade, which I know a lot of people do, to the premium coaching option, which also comes with 4 hours of one-on-one coaching with me. So if you kind of go, this is great, but I want someone to hold my hand a bit more and screen share online where we can actually, build out an ad for you specifically or something like that, then that is an awesome option that you might wish to take up also. I obviously want you to achieve success, so I also have I want you to also make sure that it's right for you, so I have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you come in there and within the first 30 days go, you know what, this isn't for me, Lauren, you can just request a refund and there's no questions asked, you'll get that back. And that brings us to the end of what I was going to go through now. I just wanted to open it up again now for anyone who has any questions. So I'm just going to escape out of this and try and find where we are.
Are you just going to unshare your screen now?
That's where I'm going to. I'm just trying to find a spot to do that because I minimised it before. Hold with me, everyone. I think I'm almost there. Share screen, because I didn't know how I actually managed to do this before. So, gosh, I'm meant to be someone who does social because I can see myself.
So I have got a couple of questions. First one is from Lisa, who says, I've just run my ad campaign with the objective of increasing Facebook business likers. Yep. Campaign successful, increasing from 285 to 385 in a week, which is good for her, 1,000 reach. She's confused if her personal page needs to be set to public for her business page post to add reach. I know they're separate, but I'm just unsure if business page Facebook posts or ads get directly posted to public or only my Facebook friends if my personal settings are.
Yeah,
I think she thinks because her personal settings are set to friends only, she's thinking that's limiting her ads.
No, it's definitely not. They're completely separate. But one of the things that you could choose to do if you do want to share some of the posts from your page to your personal profile to increase the reach is that you can do that and only your friends will be seeing it. But you can actually choose to share those posts and make them public, and that means your profile and go looking through to see, what content you've shared before. Another thing you can do if you're interested is you can also turn on a followers option for your personal profile. So then people can follow you, and when you do share that stuff, it'll appear publicly.
Sorry.
That's all right. We're motivating mum. We've got my kids in the background.
I'm like, I just need an hour. No one come in here. And then she's in here going, I need you to do my hair. And I'm like, go away, go away, go away.
We've all been there.
And so anyone else, if you're watching, if you wanted to ask a question, you can pop that up now. And I will also ask a couple of questions of Lauren just while we're waiting to give people time. So I've heard a few people say that they refuse to ever pay for Facebook because they believe as soon as you pay for an ad, Facebook then penalises them by limiting their reach of their page because now they've proven that they will pay for it. I mean, I don't believe that, but I'm sure you've heard that.
No, I'll tell you something. They're partly right. They are partly right. And the reason that they're partly right is that if you promote a particular URL at once, then Facebook will decrease the organic reach for that particular URL moving forward, because they know that this is something from a business perspective that that you're prepared to pay for it because you're probably going to get some results back off the back of it. So yeah, there's a little bit of that, and they don't completely not show that link anymore, but in their whole algorithm, it does go down a bit. But I suppose the counter side of that is if they're just going blanket across the board saying, I'm not going to advertise anything, then they're just going to always have really bad reach. And so instead of occasionally for some links having a slightly decreased reach, they're going to just be chopping off their ability to ever get a significant reach. So yeah, as I said right at the beginning, these days if you're using Facebook for business purposes, you do have to have some budget. You don't have to boost every post, and I actually recommend that you don't, because if everyone's seeing you always boosting posts, they'll start to tire of it. But if you are strategically promoting that content that's important for people to see, then that's where you're going to achieve success.
Okay, and Lisa said she just missed the bit about possibly changing her personal settings to benefit. Could you just please repeat that?
Yeah, I said you can turn on the Facebook follower option so people can start following you. Now, I have this for me personally. I don't know what business Lisa's in, but if people are likely to reach out to you, and you probably have this to yourself, Ali, where people who, because you've got a bit of a profile on Facebook, they'll ask to be your friends, and you don't want them to necessarily be your friends. If you set up the follower option, anyone who asks to be your friend will automatically become a follower of yours and will see all of your public updates from that point forward, but not the things that you post to just your friends. So they'll actually think that you've accepted their friends' requests because suddenly they're seeing stuff from you. Assuming you do post stuff publicly, but then but they're not seeing your most intimate things that you're promoting. And then what you can do is, if you want to share something from your page, you share it and you share it for public. It does mean your friends are going to see it as well, but it will mean that those other the people that are following you will see that, and it can help you for your business.
Perfect, thank you. Now, sorry, I was writing loads here and I'm just trying to find it all. Also, I've noticed that there is a new thing now where there really are minimums for budgets now, like daily, like, you know, sometimes I'll try and save $5 a day and it won't let me do it. Yeah.
Yep.
Did you want to just quickly cover that off?
Yeah, so there's a lot more competition for Facebook ads these days, in the same way that there's a lot more competition for ads for gaining organic reach into the newsfeed. And so Facebook, therefore, it's a bidding system as to how much it's going to cost you. And if you're putting too small a budget in there, then Facebook will basically go, well, it's not really worth my time putting this out here, you know, when these people are prepared to spend a much bigger budget. So they'll prioritise the bigger budget. So sometimes you might get away with a smaller budget. Sometimes it'll need to be bigger. If you're trying to promote things around you know, Cyber Monday and those things in the States, like those days around Christmas, when they're really popular times, you might find that you have to pay more. But then in some lull times, you might find that it goes down. Another thing that's happened recently is that if you go in and do the boost post, when you look at the price of those boost posts have gone up. And that's because more people are promoting that way. So you can actually go in, even though it gives you in the boost post option some specific numbers to choose from, you can put whatever you want in. It doesn't guarantee you're going to get the reach in there, but you know, you can try.
And also for the web pixel that you're popping in behind the website, so when that's up and working, does it actually give you some options in Facebook as to which pages you want to include or exclude, or?
Yep.
It is. Okay.
So the website custom audience, what we can do is there's quite a few variables we can change in there. So we can change the duration. So you can say anyone that's visited my website within the last 180 days. That's the longest you can have. And you can say everyone. Or you can say people who visited these specific pages within the last 180 days. Or you could go in there and say, I want everyone that's, so for example for me, I can say anyone that's visited my FB Business Success Now sales page but didn't end up on the thank you page. And then I can retarget ads to those people to try and get them to either purchase it or perhaps to get them to opt in for something else. Yeah.
Beautiful. And one last question. Just with Power Editor, I was going to say that I actually found it very difficult to use and not very intuitive at all. Just wondering if that's changed at all, whether it is still quite a tricky little thing to figure out.
It has changed. It changes quite recently, quite regularly. And so one of the things with the Power Editor is that Facebook will roll out the new features to the Power Editor first, and they will road test them and see how they perform and all that. And then once they've worked out how to work them best, they'll put them in the Ads Manager dashboard. I used to say to everyone, oh, you've got to use the Power Editor. It's so far beyond the other tools that are available. But what's happened is that the the Ads Manager dashboard has crept up. And the difference isn't that significant. So if you're overwhelmed, I wouldn't race to get in there. I actually create a lot of my ads in the Ads Manager when they're just simple things like page likes and that, because it's just easier to do it that way. But if I want to do things like create a post, so a boost post where I'm actually creating the post in the ads tool rather than on the page first, then I would do that in the Power Editor because it allows you to do more things. You know, and then the other thing that I find the Power Editor is really good for is if I want to duplicate things, because there's a button that just says duplicate. So I'll create the ad set, and then the ad, and then what I'll do is I'll just duplicate the ad, and I might duplicate it 3 or 4 times, and then I'll go in and change one thing in each of those just to kind of do some split testing, and then, you know, it's so much easier than if you try and do that in the Ads Manager dashboard. And it's the same with an ad set. Let's say I'll create one ad set and 2 ads, and then I might say, okay, I'm happy with those 2 ads, but I want to do another ad set. I want to replicate the same and just change one thing here. I'll duplicate the ad set and then just change the audience, and the ads are exactly the same for the 2 audiences. So it's that stuff that's great in the Power Editor. And then, of course, there's that, at the moment, it's only one extra objective that they've got in the Power Editor.
Perfect. And that's stuff that you also cover in the course as well, the Power Editor and how to do these little things that you were just talking about?
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Right, well, I haven't had any other questions, so I really just wanted to thank you, Lauren. Honestly, I think the most valuable thing about that is actually what you covered off at the end, and reminding people to actually think about the strategy behind it. And it isn't just about, oh, I might just promote that, or oh, I might just set up an ad for that, but it's thinking about, you know, where you want to take people and how Facebook is going to play a part in getting them to these places. And that's something that's important to understand for any sort of marketing activity, irrespective of whether it's using Facebook or not. So I thought that was actually fantastic.
Yep, great. And if anyone has any further questions, you know, off the back of this, or perhaps they're watching the replay, you know, feel free to reach out to me on social media. I'm at Impactivate pretty much anywhere, and I think Impactivate, if you haven't seen that already, it's IMPACTIV and then the number 8. And I'm happily answer anyone's questions beyond this if they're interested.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. It was just amazing.
I'm glad you got some value out of it, Ali, and I hope everyone else did too.
I told you I would. And also a huge thank you to my Google Hangout girl that manages all of these for me and pretty much saves me a whole lot of stress of trying to work out Google Hangouts every month. So thank you so much to Anita.
Thanks, Anita.
You're welcome. It's been fun.
And definitely, if anyone's thinking about using Google Hangouts, if you want someone to train you or someone to run them for you, I can highly recommend Anita. She's fantastic. And that's it for us. So have a great Easter, everyone, and we will catch you in April with another great Google Hangout. See you later.
Thanks for listening to me. If you think that you would love to know when my next video comes out, you can. Just subscribe here or here or here or down there or somewhere around here. You'll see the subscribe button. Hope to see you again. Bye.